welcome to the first video in a series for ADHD and autistic business owners. I am Kate Dobbins. If you don't know who I am, I have been a business coach since about 2019. Before then, I had all kinds of businesses, and through that and eventually learning that I'm ADHD and autistic, I realized that a lot of the mainstream neurotypical hustle culture sort of narrative just does not work for so many of us, and often leads to burnout, overwhelm, and even giving up our businesses. So I like to help people do business in their way, in a way that accommodates their differences, in a way that supports them and doesn't drain them and lead them into a cycle of burnout. So I just want to dive right in and talk about how it doesn't have to be that way. You can have clear, actionable systems that work for you and support you instead of draining you and driving you into the ground. You can have marketing that aligns with your values, that doesn't feel icky and like you're bullying someone, and you can have your business be adaptive to you and your fluctuating energy and capacity, whether it's ADHD, autism, or you're like me and have a whole collection of chronic illnesses that make it hard to just push and hustle and grind. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean you can't have a successful business. It just means you might have to do it a little differently. So what I like to teach is how to know which strategies are good for you and how to adapt things so that they work with your natural rhythm and flow, but also have systems in place so that when you do have a low energy stretch, everything doesn't just fall apart and you lose all your progress. So I found one of the most important pieces of that is community, smart strategies, knowing where your spaces where you need more support lie, and knowing what just doesn't work for you and that you should leave behind. So first we have to kind of unlearn all of that like neurotypical mainstream hustle culture, and like release that pressure, that guilt that comes from that, like, oh, if you're not working 12 hours a day every day on your business, you must not be that committed, or whatever it is that you've heard that just isn't true. You may be overwhelmed, you may be alone, you may be navigating this business marketing world, the system that was not built with ADHD and autistic people in mind, and trying to get through it in a way that doesn't work to your detriment. And people who don't have these things to deal with, they have a tough time understanding why we can't just do it. You know, for them, it's simply not as hard, it's not as difficult. They're not dealing with the same challenges we are. Sure, everyone has their own challenges, their own things that they have to overcome, but there are some that are specific to ADHD and autistics that we have to navigate. And I know for me, I had to navigate all those things pretty much alone. It was years into my entrepreneurial journey that I even realized that I'm ADHD, and then a little later autistic, and that there was a real reason why things weren't working for me. You know, I tried all the things. I invested in programs. I learned all the different strategies. I tried to follow them to a T, and I ended up in burnout and without the results that I wanted. And looking back, I realized that I was trying to fit myself into a box that was not built for me, and trying to follow systems and strategies that did not work for me. And I had the opportunity then to start adapting things so that I didn't end up in the same place, completely burn out to the point of not even being able to work for a while, and that just being a continuous cycle, overexert, push past my capacity, my current energy, and end up in burnout again and rinse and repeat. And that's what led me here, wanting to help other people who were in the place that I was in find a way to adapt their strategy, adapt their marketing, adapt their systems, their whole business to support them and keep them from constantly putting their energy into things that aren't working for them or pushing themselves into burnout. If you'd like some more help, please feel free to reach out to me and I can do a one-on-one business assessment, help you in an area that you're struggling with. You can also click the link in the description and download my guide, Neurosupported. And of course, look out for my next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.